Buckle up. You're watching Canada's Worst Driver.
Oh, look what I did.
It's a horror show.
I was scared to death.
5 episodes ago, we started off with the country's 8 most pathetic motorists. We've graduated 3 of them back out onto public roads, and in just 2 more episodes, we'll be naming and shaming Canada's worst driver.
Good.
We should only have 4 students left, but the driving in our last episode was so atrocious. This episode, no one has improved enough to graduate from the Driver Rehabilitation Centre. The 5 drivers who remain here at our boot camp outside Picton, Ontario, were all nominated as Canada's worst by frightened citizens like you. Manuel can thank his co-worker Alex for exposing him. Manuel got his license at age 30. Guess why?
I suck at this thing. I suck.
David was nominated by his buddy George. David is so bad, we've given him his own mantra. If you hear metal on metal scraping, stop. Heather was nominated by her spouse, Ernie. Heather has terrible reflexes, worse vision, and a passenger with soaring blood pressure.
What I did.
I don't know.
Then there's Chris, nominated by his wife, Michelle. I used to think that Chris was pulling our leg, hitting things on purpose.
I was trying, actually.
He really is trying. And finally, Madalena's best friend Jennifer nominated her as Canada's worst driver. It's hard to tell what squeals more, Madalena or her tires. And me, I'm a totally average driver, but next to Canada's worst, I seem like a professional. Every show, the drivers must execute 3 challenges designed to drive fundamental lessons home. To show these tasks can be easily done, I tackle them first. A simple driver's license enables you to operate a dizzying array of vehicles. Without any extra education or certification, even Canada's worst drivers can walk proudly into a rental shop and say, I need to work on my high-speed reversing, so I'm going to take the 7-meter-long cube truck, please. I drove a truck like this from Nova Scotia to Newfoundland once, but that's my only experience with something this big. Key to making it through this challenge safely is use your mirrors. This is a giant big truck. You gotta know your corners, you'll be fine. To keep this moving truck moving, we're giving our students a 20-minute time limit. Come through the orange markers, through the cars, no sweat. I don't want to be late, so I step on it and humiliate myself. So far on Canada's Worst Driver, I've run every course cleanly, but trying to back up this big truck has me with 1 foot in my mouth. Now I don't even know where I'm going. Where am I supposed to go? I gotta get out and check the course here. Sometimes it gets confusing. I wish I had someone outside to guide me. Big stack of tires on one side, white car on the other. Everything slides by just fine. Without a guide, I finish in less than half the time allowed, but with 1 embarrassing hit. 9 minutes and 34 seconds. Let's see how the worst drivers in Canada do.
Okay, now turn your car to go here.
When reversing through the trailer challenge in our last episode, we taught our bad drivers to use their passenger as a second set of eyes, outside the vehicle. Hopefully they'll remember that lesson today.
Okay, hold on. I'll just do it myself.
Any good mover knows exactly what they've got in the back of their truck and how it's stored. What this truck has in the back is a jangly load of precariously stacked breakables. First up, Manuel. Manuel can't anticipate the obvious.
Where is my center?
He can't make it through a tight squeeze. And worse, he can't control his emotions.
Just take it easy.
Okay,
just
let me
be
take it
slow.
easy. Let me take it easy.
When Manuel feels stress, he makes ridiculous driving decisions. And that creates more stress. It's a vicious circle. Manuel is now moving toward a freakout. That's not a clinical evaluation, but we will be getting one. In this bunker, watching every bad move the drivers make is our crack team of experts. Dr. Uzma Raymond from Queen's University is our resident psychologist. Scott Marshall from Young Drivers of Canada is our chief driving instructor. Jim Kenji is a syndicated auto journalist. And race car driver Kelly Williams offers professional advice to our rank amateurs.
You cannot steer a vehicle with the gear shift.
At the end of every show, our experts decide who has improved enough to graduate. Back on the course, Alex can't sit by and allow this abuse to continue anymore. He orders Manuel to let him out. Smart move. This is the way real truck drivers often back up. And free from restraint, Alex can break into a fancy dance of finger swirling called The Man Who Wants to Go Home.
Alex is doing a great job.
This is the first time I've seen Manuel stay focused.
First time you've driven a big machine like this?
It's probably the second time, but I've never driven it backwards. So my wife actually had to help me before when we had to, because I could not get into our garage.
Will it be a moving experience for the rest of our students?
Oh, what was that?
It's moving day on Canada's Worst Driver. We've challenged the 5 remaining nominees for the worst motorist in the country to take this cumbersome cube truck full of breakables around our tight but quite manageable course. Driving this 3.5-ton monster is supposed to force our students to become aware of exactly where their corners are. Next in the belly of the beast, Chris. Chris got his license when he was 19, but when we met him, he'd only ever used it a handful of times.
I feel way too anxious and stressed with driving a car.
We all feel anxious when Chris drives. Even the car feels stress.
Get out! Give me a break! Is that within my license?
Absolutely.
Driver's licenses are different in every province, but across Canada, anyone with a full standard license can legally rent and drive this vehicle.
I think I've changed in terms of my general focus of what's kind of going on around me now.
You have to put it in gear, Chris.
Oh yeah, gear, that would help. I think I've started to understand now where I look. I think I've been able to focus a lot more on the road.
You know the idea is not to hit anything, right?
Well, I know, but
Okay. No, I'm just...
no, I know.
With Michelle beside him, Chris can't get a handle on what's behind him. To line up the truck for the reversing section, he just points the wheel in the general direction he wants to go and hopes for the best.
Oh, that was noisy. Oh, there we go.
I hate when that happens.
Time's over.
I think I'll be hiring help next time.
Next up, Madalena. We've been begging Madalena to pay more attention while driving, but the message isn't getting through.
Hello? 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 Hello?
There's no excuse for Madalena's bad driving. At our Fit to Drive medical test, she was the only student who passed. So what is the diagnosis? Well, Madalena doesn't care. It's a serious allegation, but the symptoms are too strong to deny. Consider this. Every day here at the Driver Rehabilitation Center, we offer our students private lessons with young drivers of Canada. Everybody has taken us up on the offer. Everybody, that is, except Madalena, who took just one lesson and then lost interest. She'd rather be in her hotel, trying on different outfits.
This is going to be our outfit for later for going.
2 shows ago, Madalena hit bottom when she intentionally hit me. I'm telling you right now, if there's somebody who's in your way, you do not run into them.
Thank you.
How can that be news to an adult? To move through this course, Madalena needs Jen to offer up a few pearls of driving wisdom. But the only advice Jennifer gives is wrong and fashionably late.
How am I?
You're good. No.
This is awful. And she doesn't have someone who's helpful with her either.
If Madalena cared about not hitting things, she'd ask Jen to get out of the truck and guide her through safely. Madalena's run is a paint-peeling disappointment on many levels, and she knows it.
I'm not gonna lie. I did horrible.
David's up next. David's problems have been all over the map. His biggest issue is maneuvering through tight spaces, but he's also atrocious going backwards, and he's not too slick on ice either.
You got my weakness.
To not hit anything in the cube van, David has an idea.
Might as well just sit there for 20 minutes.
His pessimism could fill the truck.
Take your time though, Dave, huh? Yep, they tell you to.
George tells David to let him out. Not to fix the broken housewares, to direct David from up ahead.
You know what? That's a good idea when you're backing up.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
George likes to take control, and David likes to give it to him. Translation? No one's really in control.
Sorry, my bad.
Then a sign of growing confidence. David realizes George is wrong, and he stops to reposition his vehicle before grinding metal on metal. When you're dealing with Canada's worst drivers, that's a major breakthrough. Heather's next. Heather is desperate to become a better driver because her husband Ernie's health has taken a bad turn, and he needs a family chauffeur. Problem is, in the last 20 years, Heather has written off 10 cars.
You remember this turn down here?
I sure do, Ernie.
That was that little
Horizon?
Ford. No, the little Ford that got on fire. And that's when they rode off the Geo Metro.
Yeah, that's right.
This is where you put the Dodge 600 right up on top of the wall.
If Heather can get a Dodge 600 up on a wall, I wonder what she can do with our cube van.
Your driver's license.
I'm not driving that,
Yes,
am I?
my dear, you're driving that.
You think so?
I know so.
You guys are nuts.
You're doing it right now.
In a small car, Heather barely knows where her corners are. In this beast, it's a total mystery.
Breaking all the furniture.
Ernie likes it. Damage to property is fine. Damage to humans, now that's the concern.
Oh no.
Oh, what was that?
Heather doesn't seem to be improving at all. But hey, at least Ernie's making some progress.
I'm not scared to drive with her now. Like when we came that first Saturday, I was scared to death.
There's been some appalling cube van driving so far, but Heather is easily the worst. And she hasn't even gone backwards yet. Our course builders want to give Heather a ticket. To them, this is a moving violation.
Oh, you're gonna hit the tires on this side. Move. The other way.
What'd they knock down?
Tires. No, straight.
Oh, now we're into a car.
No, Heather, this is not your finest moment here.
Heather has some vision issues, and with her passenger beside her, she's got no eyes outside the vehicle. I can't see Heather making it to the end without help, so I step in to wave her home.
I can stand behind you, though, and help you if you need a visual aid in the mirror.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Sure, I'll do this.
We don't want to snuff out Heather's budding confidence, so instead of pulling the plug after 20 minutes, we let her finish off the course.
Perfect. Come straight back. Boy, she's going to be calling the moving company for the rest of her life. Come on. You're good.
You made it.
I made it, but I need a lot of practice.
I think you could practice for the rest of your life. You'll never get a job with a moving company.
Neither will I.
To the citizens of Picton, Ontario, please allow me to apologize in advance. We're about to let Canada's worst drivers loose in your town. For the safety of our nation, Canada's worst drivers are being quarantined just outside Picton, Ontario. After undergoing a series of fully isolated driving challenges, though, it's time to start slowly reintegrating them back into the flow of life's normal traffic. Today, we're letting them back out onto the public roads. There's a lot to hit out there. $8,000 paint jobs, pedestrians, stop signs. This is the real world. And Canada's worst drivers have made it very clear that in that universe, they are totally lost. We're bringing our dubious motorists to Picton, Ontario, because the citizens here drive graciously in a non-threatening manner. This challenge will teach our bad drivers the importance of planning. I will give them each 10 clear and simple directions leading them to a specific location. That's it. 10 turns, no twist. Take the first left after the crosswalk. The first right turn near a white house. Turn left at the Shire Hall. The challenge ends if and when they manage to arrive at local landmark, the Crystal Palace. Heather's first to hear me prattle off the long list of directions.
Can you remember that? I
Are
can.
you kidding?
I've got a pen.
I do. Like any sane person, Heather takes down the details of every direction. And then right by the White House. So if you feel safe, get in your vehicle, buckle up. We'll be in the one behind you. Heather's off. She's headed the right way, and she's driving at the perfect speed. This will be the first time Heather's been driving in civilization for quite a while. Somehow, I don't think I'll have any trouble keeping up with her. Speed limit's 50. We're doing exactly 50. Exactly.
You turn left. And where? On 1st Street after crosswalk.
So now they're going to turn onto the incorrect street. Ernie's off course, and he's getting defensive.
Can't read your writing, I'm sorry.
So Heather takes matters into her own hands.
At left on 1st Street after crosswalk.
Oh, she's trying to read her own handwriting now.
Yeah.
All right, now, if she does this correctly, she should make the right turn right after the fast food restaurant, if she sees it.
Now, wasn't it here somewhere?
No, she missed it again.
There you go. The thing is, it was right there. It was in front of her, and she's not driving that fast to miss it.
In our last episode, we gave Heather an eye exam.
When we did her vision test, even with her glasses on, she scored very, very poorly. So that is 2100. Your average person has what's called 20/20 vision, where she was 2100, which means if I'm standing away from an object 100 feet, I can see it clearly, whereas for her to see that object, she'd have to be standing 20 feet away from it. Still can't see that one? Okay, so that's, again, 20 and 100.
Even with her glasses on, Heather can't see what most of us take for granted. No wonder she's driving in circles. She's going left, very curious. She's going away from where she wants to be. She knows where she went wrong. She just cannot see the first street. Heather has several driving issues. One of them is seeing what's going on around her.
Which way are you going? Right?
She wants to go right. She's got a blinker on for left. A few loop-de-loos around the neighborhood, and hallelujah, we're back on track. Now it's time to find either the lighthouse or the White House. Or maybe it's a light White House.
Turn right at White House. At Lighthouse.
This is like an Abbott and Costello routine.
I was sure you told her to turn at a White House, but she's got a lighthouse.
I told her a White House.
Well, that's what I said, and she said, no, a lighthouse. And I said, we've gone by it. So...
We went by a White House or a lighthouse?
A White House back there.
Yeah, we did.
Believe me, it was White House, not Lighthouse. Crystal Palace.
This 8-minute drive takes Heather and Ernie almost half an hour. Does Heather even see what her real problem is?
It's going too slow. We didn't do a very good job, did we? He couldn't read my writing.
Oh, I bet the issue is bigger than that. I'm going to suggest it's a vision issue, because you didn't see that first left. When we said you take the first possible left,
right,
you drove through it maybe 3 times before you noticed it. So I guess the question is, how come you didn't notice it?
I don't know.
How you doing, David? Next up is David. We just can't have David grinding metal on metal in Picton. So we alter his mantra. Remember how I said we changed the mantra? You're not going to hear scraping metal.
I'm not going to hear scraping metal.
If you know you're going to hear scraping metal.
I know I'm going to hear scraping metal.
Stop the car!
I will stop the car.
David did well in the cube van, but will real traffic stress him out? In past episodes, we've seen what tension can do to him.
Now let's see how many decisions David can make on his own.
Okay, we're turning right here.
David gets his directions straight, and for the first time ever, he seems both relaxed and in control.
Right on the second stop sign.
Straightforward. They're going to be done this instantly. The rehab is obviously working. George doesn't grab the wheel, and David doesn't make a single error.
Okay, they did it.
That's not a problem. We can't even believe that was a challenge.
Next up is Chris. When I give him the directions, he's content on marking them not on paper, but on his brain. Apparently what's under that orange hat is clever enough to remember 10 random turns on streets Chris has never heard of.
Want it one more time? Are you good?
I think we're good.
Okay, Chris. That's your signal.
Before long, though.
The directions I gave you were follow that street until it ends, turn right, then you'll be on the street that snakes around. Ah, okay. You want me to continue the directions with you from here?
Well, let me just remember for a minute. So,
will he write it down this time?
And then all I have to do is go back out and go this way, and I'm back on my course.
You are absolutely right, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. And once again, I got a piece of paper, I got a pen, I got it all there waiting for him. No, he doesn't need it. He thinks he's good to go.
Now after King,
What did he tell you, Chris?
I can't remember now.
No, you have no idea where you're going?
No, now I have no idea where I'm going.
You should be embarrassed.
Surely he'll write it down this time.
Left at the Shire Hall?
Shire.
And then you just keep going straight until you come to the Crystal Palace. You'll see it on your left.
Got it, okay.
No problem.
Thanks a lot.
No sweat. He's gone down the wrong street. He took his first stop sign instead of his second.
What are you supposed to do after you?
It was supposed to be make a left.
Where is it written that a man is measured by his ability to get from A to B without writing anything down?
Crap. Ola.
Manuel, good day, sir.
Which brings us to Manuel. We're actually going to change the rules today and take you back out on the public roads.
Okay.
You comfortable with that?
Well, yes, but is this a vehicle?
That's the vehicle.
Okay, my first experience with the minivan was in a parking lot, and I actually almost L-shaped it.
Well, that's not very encouraging. And Manuel needs encouragement because his driving hinges on his mood.
We're not letting you out because we think an accident will happen. We're letting you out because we have faith in you as a driver.
It's time for Manuel's 10 directions. You ready for your directions?
I am.
Here are your directions.
Don't give me too many details. L, R, R, L, L. I want to get that always.
L.
L.
Follow the road until it ends.
R.
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 First set of lights. R.
R. L. R. R. L. R. R. L. R. L. L.
Well, yeah. And you'll see it on the L.
Very good.
I cannot believe he didn't ask to write down the directions.
Let's get our let's get this party started. Here is a left, right? I is L, R, R, L. That's all I know.
They're not going into town. Simple directions. Get to the end of the road, turn right. They came. They're already muddled with their L, R, 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 L, R, L.
Andrew?
Yes, sir.
R, L, L, R, R.
You want the rundown again? You want me to explain it again? Manuel finally accepts a pen and writes the directions down.
I don't want to screw up this challenge. Definitely, I can tell
That
you
means no more screw-ups. We're on track.
Yeah.
Manuel can over-observe his surroundings.
Okay, the lights are over there. Visibility up front. Reduce speed, 50 kilometers. Check intersection. Everything is good.
We are go for lunch.
Manuel struggles so hard to understand every detail, it gets him distracted, then lost.
What the hell? Didn't we just come off this street?
Oh, King Street is over there. We were on King Street, so what was the problem?
Oh.
Keeping his stress levels under control, Manuel gets back on track and follows his written directions all the way to the Crystal Palace.
You want to know who's going home? I can tell you two people that are going home. Manuel and Alex.
I think we're going home. I think we're going home. But it may happen that Dave Chow gets on our way.
I think it's going to be us, Manuel.
You think so?
Madalena is in the country's most exclusive driving school, but she's far more interested in her outfit than in her ability.
You're here. You're lost. We're going to give you directions to the Crystal Palace.
Ever since Madalena checked into rehab, we've been asking her to show more maturity and prove to us she's concerned about safe driving.
Little speed check as they go past the 60-kilometer-an-hour sign. We're doing 80. Still doing 75 past this 60 zone, and they're pulling away from me.
Madalena is having so much fun being goofy, she loses sight of her goal And not surprisingly, she doesn't care.
Oh my God, I knew this. I just have to run into A&P.
Madeleine is letting us down.
See how patient I'm being? I should graduate.
We don't see patience or enough respect for the residents of our host town.
Lots of Pictonians have boats. Like to boat and fish and hunt and drink beer in each other's basements here. Oh,
Crystal Palace. Kick ass.
What the hell is it? And we are here.
80 in a 60 zone? 75 in a 50 zone? 65 through the residential area? And I don't think he came to an actual stop at a stop sign ever. Madalena doesn't understand that if she starts caring about her driving, maybe she'll graduate.
I just need to go home. I just need to go home. I need to graduate. Please graduate me. I promise I won't speed. Please.
I promise I won't speed. I hear Madalena, but I don't believe her. Still to come, how not to drive in the winter. Canada's worst drivers just had their first public road test since arriving at our driver rehab center 5 shows ago. No one had an accident, but confusion crashed into common sense.
R-L, R-R-L, R-L.
The only person to do the street challenge perfectly was David, but he's far from perfect. Put him in a tight spot, and he'll probably make it tighter.
Oh.
And flatter.
Oh. What did you just
Maybe David should drive something lighter.
You step back up straight.
His buddy George thinks he should drive a toy car. And at the Barnyard Challenge, he pushed that idea on us.
I used to play with a remote control car. Just you like when you turn a wheel this way, you can just play around with it and you can see exactly. You just have a different view of it.
There's a remote chance this will work. Our psychologist says a large portion of how we act behind the wheel is mental. So if David thinks this will help him, it very well might.
Oh, wow. he didn't touch it. I'm impressed, Dave. Pretty good.
It's not a real car, but it is a real confidence boost. Go figure. As for the rest of our bad drivers...
I'm not doing very good.
Uh-oh. Which way am I going?
We are really sucking at this.
Ah, the Canadian winter. The imposing machinery. The dead car batteries. The never-ending hardships sometimes keep bad drivers from driving at all. No such luck today, though. Our hapless grocery getters are going to have to overcome every fresh hell this season throws at them. Okay, that was in the head. We call this challenge going to the store to buy milk in February. If you live in Winnipeg, you'll just have to pretend like we plugged the block heater in. In this challenge, Canada's worst drivers will have to start by shoveling their way out. Then they'll discover they have a dead battery. But they've got jumper cables in the back, and I'm sitting right here in my trusty wheels, ready, willing, and able to give them a boost. Once they dig their prized car out, they'll have to get her going and safely make their way over or through this chunky, icy snowbank. Then it's a dance through the slalom before arriving at our second snowbank, which blocks access to Canada's worst bridge. Once our drivers get their milk, it's just a matter of going home and parking. First to make the milk run is Chris.
Well, maybe not in front of the car.
This challenge is all about car care, and Chris certainly cares.
Oh, Chris, he's so thorough. He's wiping off the lights.
If Chris were to attempt driving the vehicle out instead of shoveling, it could damage the transmission. And in a tempo of this age, that would mean a repair bill of $1,200. If time is money, shoveling snow saves cash by the scoop.
The moment of truth. Let's see how long it takes Chris to figure out his battery's dead.
The car's not starting. Why is the car not starting?
Still not going so good.
Can you give me a hand? Give me a boost? I think my battery's dead.
Yeah, sure. When his car wouldn't start, Chris pulled the headlight knob, hoping it was the choke.
Chris.
A device that hasn't been used now for a good, 15 years?
Chris.
Look at him. Now he's choking trying to open the hood.
Just pop mine for you, hang on. There's mine up.
Shaw, how do you open her hood? Oh, it's on that side.
Uh-oh. Jumper cables. This looks like a blueprint for disaster.
Step 1, positive.
I'm not supposed to help, but I'm losing patience. Put the black on the black and the red on the red and then fire up.
Oh, now that'll...
Chris looks confused, and Michelle looks like she's losing patience. The dominant partner gets out to push.
It's like a role reversal with the two of them.
I've been back there watching. This is embarrassing. Your husband makes you push, and there's a guy in a truck sitting there waiting.
Chivalry's not dead, but it is driving away without a wife.
And then he leaves you behind.
With Michelle back on board, Chris decides to impress her by going for broke.
Here we go. He's backing up for the big one. Ready?
Yeah, go. Harder.
This is the first snowbank Chris has ever driven through, and he likes it enough to try the experiment again, which is not good for the car or his wife's chronic neck problem.
Was that homo or 2%, dear?
I think it's homo. You have to go back to the way you came.
It has been a sorry string of performances for Chris in this episode. He has no hope of graduating tonight, but he is smart enough to know why.
So how was that for you?
Oh, it was fun. It was fun. I'm not sure I would bust through a snowbank if I actually owned this vehicle, but I mean, I probably would have shoveled a little more.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There's more winter carnage to come. Then at the end of the show, we'll decide who gets to graduate. Canada's worst drivers are being put through a winter driving challenge to see if they'll do what's right or what's easy. Hopefully Heather will treat the car a little better than Chris did.
Heather don't need no shovel. She's just going to give it the gas and get the hell out of there.
Why won't this go?
I don't know.
It won't go.
The real question now is, how long will it be before they figure out I'm here and can give them a boost?
It won't go. It won't start.
You me?
She figured it out.
Car's dead, it won't start. You want a boost?
I suppose.
Ah, the beautiful sound of an engine catching. And they're off. Oh, no, wait. No, they're stuck. The shovel doesn't come out, but Ernie does. We push, and Heather puts the pedal to the metal.
Well, she's not shy on the gas. Okay.
Ernie's too tired to shovel, and Heather certainly has no ambition to dig. So...
All right. Heather just plowed through the first bit of snow. Okay, give her.
I'm not supposed to enjoy it when our students drive reprehensibly. But when Heather bashes around like she's driving a bumper car, I can't help but share her naughty smile.
Easy now. So we have to go through here. Okay. Give her.
Heather gets to the fridge and back faster than anyone else, but only by driving the tempo like it's a Hummer.
No, I didn't find it that hard. It was fun.
Manuel's next.
I think we need to do some clearing, a little bit of clearing.
Shoveling is yet another point of misplaced pride for Manuel. He's not satisfied until the blade scrapes the pavement around the tires. But he should shovel under them.
Hey, start up. You want me to start it up? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, go.
Okay, here's the moment of truth. Alex is going to start it up.
Okay. We have jumper cables.
We need the truck for a jump, please.
They work with computers. They figured it out quick. You guys know what you're doing?
Oh, yeah. Good to go.
Okay, just start going. I'll push you out.
Yeah, can you give a hand pushing?
What did you want me to do?
You know, just with your truck, just, you know.
You want me to push you with my truck?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, I'll do it.
I can't believe they asked for that.
It sounds risky, but as long as the bumpers line up and it's done gently, there's nothing wrong with taking a half-ton push. And they're off. It's later in the day now, and our snowdrift has gotten heavier and more dense.
Yeah, good job. Yeah, you're good, you're doing good, you're doing good. Through the bank, go fast.
Does Manuel drive like this when his kids are in the car?
Watch out for the motorhome. Oh, watch out for the... Okay, I'll get the bill. You have to run back? Hurry up! Oh yeah! Holy that racer! I think we killed that one.
Yeah, that wasn't safe at all.
If you were alone, would you have hit the snow like that?
No, you have to be cautious, right? So,
cautious at all.
Next up, David. David's finally showing some leadership.
David sent George ahead to shovel out the first little speed bump of snow there. The boy likes to think. Oh, he's realized his car won't start.
David quickly calls me over for a boost.
What's the matter there? You got some kind of problem?
But does he know how to charge a battery? He's hooked up the booster cables properly now, but he hasn't realized his heater and headlights are on, and that's drawing too much power for the starting motor to work. While David ponders the electrical problem, he continues cracking the whip on George. It's a wise use of time. When the car finally gets going, David performs the day's first smooth ride to the store.
Some good decision making by David this time.
If this was his car, you know what I mean? The last thing you want to do is take a chance of ruining it.
Yeah.
So, rather take the time and shovel.
Madeleine is last through this challenge, and she's in no mood to waste time.
Jen?
She immediately realizes her battery's flat.
So, like, you know those jumper cables and stuff? Yeah, we need them. Can you help us?
Sure.
Can you give us a boost?
Oh yeah, no sweat.
She's good at this. Can you help us? Bat your eyelashes.
Madalena frequently relies on help from others. She owns her own set of booster cables, but she has no idea what to do with them. So Jen steps in to connect the wiring.
You know what you're doing, hey, Jen?
Yeah, here, put those ones.
No sweat.
Yesterday, Madalena said, I promise not to speed anymore. And she promised to care.
Sure enough, Madalena wasn't having nothing to do with any of that shoveling out through the first speed bump.
We've been pleading with Madalena to use more sense and act more responsibly. So when she heads for the second snowbank with a shovel, we think our message is getting through.
Oh, God.
But after a few wild swings of the blade, Madalena gets bored and orders Jen to bash her way through the heavy ice. Madalena retakes the wheel, careening backwards through the ice without her seatbelt on. This feels personal, like Madalena's laughing in the face of all of our advice and effort.
There's the maturity, there's the laughter.
Yeah, and it's hilarious that you're like speeding up on people.
Kick the crap out of the car coming through that second snowdrift.
But we made it.
That's the important part.
Yes, it is.
No one graduated last episode. Will anyone get their keys back tonight? It's time for our experts to decide which of Canada's 5 worst drivers will graduate, get their keys back, and be allowed to go home. So 6 episodes in, Seems like our accelerated learning has plateaued or maybe even crashed. Are we going to get to send anybody home this week?
The possibility of a tie for last place still keeps cropping up. You know?
In adult education, you have to want to learn. And this is going to take time. Part of it is that they want to do it. The other part is, like, Chris wants to do it. Heather wants to do it. Heather may take longer than Chris because of her length of time driving.
I was having a case of guilt last week thinking, oh my God, who's going to be the worst driver? Who wants to be voted the worst driver? What a horrible thing to be voted.
None of them believe they are the worst
But then
driver.
Scott said that, like, barely anybody was going for driving lessons. And I thought to myself, okay, there goes my sympathy. I just lost it all.
Some days Madalena seems that she wants to learn, and some days she clearly just doesn't. She's here for a lark and doesn't care, and she just literally doesn't care.
You know, with her, if there was a shift in attitude, if there was a genuine desire to be a better driver, I think she can do it. I'm not seeing that attitude shift with her.
Do we know who's not going to graduate? Can we strike some people off the list? Manuel's not going to graduate. Sold. Who else is not going to graduate? Madalena's not going to graduate this week. Sold. So we've got Chris, Heather, and David.
That they all do know how to drive. And so they'll get moments of brilliance where they do everything really well, and then they forget about how much work it is to be a good driver, and they go back to their old ways again.
We have to know who's going to graduate the Driver Rehabilitation Center.
We started out with 8 nominees, all trying to avoid the scandalous title of Canada's worst driver. The 5 who remain all fear it's them.
So far, here at the Driver Rehabilitation Center, we have put the worst drivers in Canada through 18 migraine-inducing in-car challenges. And even at this late stage, we still can't tell if that light at the end of the tunnel is hope or a Mack truck bearing down on us. Who will graduate tonight? Are any of these motorists ready? Madalena, when you drove to the store to get a simple carton of milk, you treated your vehicle like it was a tank. You bashed through walls of ice and made it leap. And why? So you and your friend could have a couple of cheap laughs. Well, yeah, you won't be graduating today. Sorry. And Heather, you had a little panic attack in the Cube van. Then you backed over a whole lot of stuff. And we're rooting for you, but we just can't graduate you on the day that you did something like that. So we're sorry. We are cheering for you, but that brings me to the men. Oh, the men. What happened to you this week? Manuel, Chris, you're the brainiacs in the room. But I gotta tell you, boys, I am lost as to how you think you could remember 10 things and not get lost. Write it down. This is not a hard thing to think of. It's ludicrous not writing it down. So write this one down, boys. The male ego is like a slipping clutch. It's dangerous to drive around with. Write that down when you get home. David Chow, you were a very dangerous man to drive around with when you first came here. But we've seen some dramatic improvement. You don't listen to George as much anymore. And most importantly, you're owning the vehicle yourself. You seem to be aware of what you're doing, and it's yours when you're driving. So, my friend, get back in your own car and drive on the public roads. Because if you can do one more thing for us, we will graduate you. Prove to us what you know from here. Tell me your mantra.
I would stop when I hear metal scraping.
You're our newest graduate, David. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Congratulations.
When David first got to the Driver Rehab Center, he drove through a wall and thought we'd made the mistake.
I didn't see the red light. No. Come on, did you see the wall coming up?
Yeah.
Well, don't hit the wall, man.
And he relied far too much on his buddy George. But in this show's Cube Truck Challenge, he didn't depend on George, he worked with him. In the Directions Challenge, David executed 10 turns without a single flaw. And in the Winter Car Care Challenge, David was our only nominee to show respect for the vehicle. Congratulations, David. You're a bad driver, but you're not the country's worst.
Sorry. 4 nominees remain. One of them is Canada's worst driver.
No, you're gonna hit this side.
I knew it.
In our next episode, we grind it down to the final 3 candidates for Canada's worst driver.
die.
Gosh, it's a dark place.
It's gonna be a long drive.